With the new Spring 2026 roadmap that the Two Point Museum team shared a few days ago, we know that there is a DLC coming, so I thought I'd share some of my DLC ideas for the game. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Planet Estefania, it's great to be with you, so let's get started. My first idea is a microbiology museum. Yes, I know this might be a bit niche for people who are into life sciences, but I think it would be a great fit for the game. Imagine having new scientists or microbiologists as experts, wearing white uniforms, white gowns, using microscopes. Maybe we can have a giant interactive microscope exhibit, a giant cell, or a giant virus or bacteria, something that moves, like a showcase of different petri dishes, or holograms of showing the internal structure of bacteria and protozoa, or maybe they would be moving as they're seen from a microscope and projected onto a huge monitor. I'd really love to see that. Next up is probably one of my favorite ideas in this showcase. Yes, a candy, cookies, and chocolate factory DLC. Imagine something like Willy Wonka with a Two Point Museum twist. I could see like a chocolate pond where guests would dive in. Let me show you some of these images. Like, yes, I'm getting hungry already. I could see a chocolate pond. Remember the chocolate river from Willy Wonka? Yes, I could see the chocolate pond as an exhibit where guests can dive in and eat the chocolate, like a giant palm tree made of candy, fish made of cookies or gummies, machines that make cupcakes that walk or have eyes. Like, who knows, with the team's creativity I know that anything is possible, and this theme is so broad and it's so creative and so limitless that I know that they can create something amazing for this DLC if they decide to go for this theme. A self-service bar for children, something that I was thinking about, where they can make like their own chocolate or candy, and we could have a new staff type. I was thinking about calling them candyologists. What do you think? Share that in the comments. What do you think about candyologist? This DLC I also think would blend well with other themes that are already in the game, like botany, supernatural, and science. Because we could have plants made of candy. Spooky candy for trick or treat, like something that we could also add to the supernatural museum. And new machines that make candy and chocolate in the science museum. So I think it would blend really well. Next up, we have my third idea. Fantasy animals. Yes, I'd love to see this DLC using the Suseum mechanics, like we do have to take care of these fantasy animals. I'm thinking of it as a collection of iconic fantasy animals that we've seen in mythology and stories. Like, for example, dragons. Let me show you these images, like dragons, Pegasus, like the Kraken even for the aquatic or the marine theme. Maybe Nessie, the Loch Ness monster, a phoenix, a hippogriff, fairies, a hydra. Like, the possibilities here are endless. You get my point. The team they could take like these skeletons that we have over here and transform them into actual creatures that we can take care of. So we could have like the combination of prehistory and actual living fantasy animals in the museum. I would really love to see that. We could also have a new creatures expert who can take care of them. I was thinking also about the space constraints when I came up with this idea, but I think the team could maybe adapt this to say that the experts found a new point of interest on a remote island that was isolated, so the creatures evolved. And the island has these fantastical creatures that evolved to be really small compared to their ancestors, or something like that, like giving them the twist so we could work with the Suseum mechanics. But like they could have miniature versions of these animals that adapt better to the space of the museum, so they can be inside the habitats and we could have enough space for them in the museums. But I definitely love to see a small dragon walking, or a small Pegasus, or a small Kraken swimming around. I'd love to see that. This is another one of my favorite DLC ideas. Then, next up, we have something a bit more traditional. My fourth DLC idea is ancient civilizations, and I've seen that many people in the community have been asking for this one. This is a more classical museum theme. Please team, please include this one. In this DLC, I would include finds from, for example, ancient Egypt. My mother is a huge fan of the ancient Egypt theme, so she would love to see that one in the game. She's a fan of the game as well, so she'd love to see this one in the game too, so I'm just passing on her feedback. We could also include the Aztecs, the Maya, the Inca, the ancient cultures like from Asia, like China and Japan. I really do think that this DLC has so much potential. And one thing that I know would be something to consider, and this is very important, is how to approach the theme with a 2-point twist, like their funny twist, while also keeping the integrity of the original pieces and the culture. Yes, I think this would be a challenge, but the team is so creative that I'm sure that they can find some middle ground where the whole creations and the exhibits will be amazing. In this DLC, we could have a new ancient civilizations expert. And now, on to idea number 5. We have a children's museum. This one is more general and less specific in the theme. I think this would be more open for the team creatively. My idea would be like a whole set of interactive exhibits and decorations specifically targeted towards kids. Like a giant interactive piano on the floor where they can jump and make and play sounds, holograms teaching them things, crafts, a mix of everything that children would find interesting and fun at a museum. I think this would add so much, and we could also expand our existing museums, adding wings for kids only. New kids decorations would also be something that I would love to see in this DLC. A new expert type could be a kids entertainer or a new staff type, where the expert or the staff member could watch out for the kids in that area and read them stories, teaching them things in the museum. We could even have kids-only tours through kids-oriented exhibits. Those would be new mechanics that build on the existing ones, and I would really love to see that. And finally, we've come down to my last 2 ideas. I have 7 ideas here. Idea number 6 is the Art Museum DLC. This is another one that I've seen a lot of people asking for. Please team, would love to see this one. I'd love to see famous art pieces, including paintings and sculptures, but of course with a 2-point museum twist, while also keeping the spirit of the original artwork. But of course, the funny twist is a must as well. I'd love to see guests walking up to paintings and checking them out on the walls. This would be like a new way to plan the museums because we couldn't have something like decorations right there on the floor. It would be really nice, so we could have hallways full of paintings. Maybe guests could also try to climb on the sculptures and security officers would have to bring them down. I think this one has a lot of room for new mechanics and interesting gameplay. We will have a new art expert to keep the exhibits in good shape. And finally, since I'm an animal fan, I couldn't skip this one. I'd love to see a new DLC focused on insects to expand the terrarium mechanics of the Suseum DLC. Warning please to arachnophobics on the next slide, okay? I'm warning you, you've been warned, because I'm going to change the slide right now. If you don't like to see spiders, please close your eyes. Okay. Here we have what I'm thinking about. Maybe we could have new 2-point versions of spiders, bees, butterflies, ladybugs. I was also thinking about having a butterflies exhibit that is sort of interactive, where guests can walk through the exhibit and interact with the butterflies, they would stand on their fingers and they could see them up close. Of course, this would be outdoors, but I think it would be so cool and it would add a lot to building the museum outdoors, which is something that the team has been requesting feedback for. And I'd love to see more exhibits that are more suited or better suited for outdoors, and I think this one would be perfect. We would have a new entomology expert, like an expert focused on insects, or this could be added perhaps to the responsibilities of wildlife experts from the Suseum DLC. I just think there's so much potential with this mechanic, and they already have terrariums in the game. So this would be just expanding and creating new models. I would love to see that one. I know this one could be a bit niche, but I love animals and I always want to see more of them in the game. If they could expand the terrarium mechanic with this DLC, that would also be amazing, creating the more different layouts of terrariums or expand the terrariums. Yes, just expanding on the terrarium mechanics. So thank you so much for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about my ideas? Which one is your favorite? And please share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have any DLC ideas that you'd like to share? Have an awesome day and see you in the next video. Looking forward to reading your comments.